What's up, Empire Builders? Welcome to another video. This video we're going to talk about something a little bit different, but still super relevant to building your empire, which is your credit score. You need your credit score so that you can get more credit. And credit is necessary in order to grow and expand. Here's the crazy thing. There are so many of us who just think that credit is the worst thing and that you should never get it. And there are people that live their whole life without doing this. And it is 100% possible. If you are somebody who wants to build a big business and who wants to start to build maybe a real estate empire, wants to start building an entrepreneurial empire, or doing stuff online and opening businesses, it's pretty hard to avoid getting credit. Let's be honest here. You could do this with getting personal loans and doing kind of like prosper deals at high interest, or people to invest in your company. And that is possible, and that is a way that you should be exploring. I also think you should be exploring setting yourself up with great credit so that it's there if you ever need it. So if you're living just cash flow to cash flow, there's a lot of cap on what you can do. Now, we could go into a whole argument about the debt ceiling and all the other stuff that I've talked about on this channel. Like, I'm not saying push that aside and forget about it and come over here to try and get some free money. That's the big misconception people have. The reason why people have bad credit is because we're taught bad how to handle credit. We're taught poorly how to handle it. And we think it's free money, which is one of the dumbest things, and it's one of the biggest habits to break. So a lot of this stuff with building up your credit actually isn't like what to physically go do. It's mentally. It's mentally looking at it in a different way. Because when you have access to millions of dollars at the snap of a finger, it gives you more opportunities, does it not? And when you have more opportunities, there's more chances of you having success. So if you're one of those people that want to have more opportunities for more success, and you see this as a valid way to do that, well then stick around, especially if you've got poor credit. As you guys know, if you've been following along on a journey with me, I had really bad credit. At one point, I think it was registering at 0 on trans, and then it was like 450. And I've never, by the way, I got credit cards when I was super young, like 18, abused them. I think I got a Best Buy credit card. I think I got a mattress. I got a car loan. And then I did a bankruptcy like 11 years ago now, 10 or 11 years ago. So my credit score is really bad. It was like 450 on one, 540, and I don't know, some other god-awful score, which now it's at 630 and about to be 650. And in like the next month, I'll finally be in position to start to get even more trade lines. Now, the next misconception many people have is that if you don't use the card or the account, you should close the trade line, which that's not true at all, because you want the history. So you want to use it. You want to keep the history open because it matters on your account now. The payment history and the age of the account, and then the utilization of your total credit, the total allocation that you have, right, across all the accounts. And those are the two numbers that account for 35 and 30% of your credit score. So like that's literally everything, all right? And so if you're not using it, don't close it. Just spend money on it every once in a while. Go buy something absolutely retarded or something that you need, and then just pay it off, and that's that. Because you want to keep those lines open. But the other common misconception, and this is through my research, understand that I'm not a credit fixer guy, okay? And those people annoy me. It's one of the scammiest and scummiest industries. At least with Wall Street, they're going to wear a suit when they fuck you. With the credit fixing guys, they're not. They're like ghetto and fucking, I don't know what's wrong with these people. But this industry is so annoying to deal with, because you're getting all these half-truths and half information, and they're trying to like hide the secret sauce. There is no secret sauce. You don't need to go pay somebody 5% on the back end, 10% on the back end to go do this shit. Go do it yourself. But if you're lazy, then that's why that guy makes money. You understand? Anyways, the other thing people think is that, okay, I'll just go get one card with a $10,000 limit. No, you want to keep your utilization, like the standard is 30%, but if you could keep it even sub 10% would be amazing. So why don't you just go get 5 trade lines that then your usage, with still staying at 7 to 10%, is $10,000 or $100,000. Go get 20 trade lines. Go get 50 trade lines. You see how that already, like mentally, there's people that are like shaking and on overload right now. What would I ever need with 50 trade lines? That's not the point. The point here is to build your credit and your lendability. This, trust me, this affects so many different areas of your personal life and business. Because if you want to go set up a business, a brick and mortar, or even an online business, you could go and, when I first did this, when I first started doing online businesses, we just went and started making products and selling it, and then we made a bunch of money. We didn't have to go borrow money to start. And that's true for a lot of stuff. Like, you could start a lot of businesses online for like less than $500 between a domain, hosting, or a Shopify site, lining up distributors through China or Alibaba or whatever you're doing, right? There's a lot of stuff you could start for less than $500, less than $1,000. So that might not be necessary for those things. Maybe it'll be necessary down the road to scale, or maybe like a couple points we got ourselves into trouble where we ran through like these periods of time where we had no cash. And that's another big issue that you run into when you're trying to like operate outside of this system. The system, if used properly, benefits you. If used improperly and piss poor management, it benefits them. It's that simple. So to have it there, it would have made things a lot easier, and we would have had a lot less struggle and growing pains. So this will affect that, though, because when your personal score is up above 720, 750, that affects you then going and being a PG or personal guarantor for setting up business lines for your LLCs, which is another fast route track to get cash for your business, is going and setting up a brand new LLC, starting to get some Tradelines set up on that, getting your Dun & Bradstreet number, and then actually going and getting credit lines, right, through different banks, 25, 50, 100,000. Like, you can get up to $250,000, $500,000 on that LLC. Now, again, that's not free money. You see how fucked up most people are about money? They look at this stuff as free money. You have to know what you're going to do with that, or don't even bother, right? You have to know what's the purpose of all this. And if nothing else, I think the purpose should be that we are going into questionable territory in 2020 with this possible 2020 recession, and that you will have these trade lines opened, ready, and accessible if you need them, if you fall on hard times. All right? And that should be enough. That should be enough of a reason. So, okay, here's your credit score ratings. So you see, I was very poor and still in poor territory, which I have no problem admitting, because it's just how it is, right? Like, I wasn't born and raised into a business savvy family that understood these things. Most people aren't. But I will get here and here. It just takes time. It takes a couple years to get into the sevens, unless you're starting out new and you've kind of found all this information out and you're able to have a head start. But okay, so let's cover this. By the way, this is the free credit boosting hacks that we give away for free, and we have since earlier this year, and I think actually late last year was the very first time that we released it, and it's gotten so few downloads, it's fucking depressing. What I go through in here is insane. Like, this is you would have to watch 20, maybe even 50 videos to find this, read 3 to 5 websites to find all this, and be able to compile it and put it together like this. Information nowadays is cheap, and knowledge isn't necessarily power. It's organized knowledge that's power. And that's what I've done for you here, is I've taken a ton of my time to organize knowledge and information for you. Take advantage of it. It's fucking free. Download it. It's underneath the video. So, all right, 35% payment history accounts for on your FICO score. Available balances accounts for 30% of your FICO score. So there's 65% of your total score. The industry standard, even though this says 50%, because that's what's publicly available, like if you go search this out, it says to keep it below 50% of total value on the credit lines. That's not necessarily true. You want it to be below 30%. So you want to make sure that you have your payment history is on point. And the easiest way to do this is just have it automatically paid out of your accounts. I know a lot of people fear this because they think that they might not have the money in the account or blah, blah, blah. Like, you really need to just allocate those first and set those aside in whatever account you have it coming out of. Or maybe even go and set up a separate account just to pay these bills. So that way these payments are getting taken out of. Another easy way and a quick tip that I have in here is set your Google Calendar reminder. Okay. Oh, and that's another thing that I haven't put in here, but I'm about to do another update. I haven't updated this since August 5th, is you want to operate off the statement date, not the due date. So the statement date could be August 24th, and the first payment date could be September 22nd. But what's going to happen is as soon as the statement date becomes published, it's going to publish that to the credit bureaus, which could negatively affect your credit score. I know somebody who this just happened to. They had a fucking 720 and they dropped all the way down to a 640 because their credit score showed over 100% on one of their cards, which I don't even know how that's possible, but because of the reporting and when everything got put in there on a big payment that they made like a $5,000 payment, it actually showed that there were over 100% usage on this card, dropped, what is that, 80 points? 80 points overnight. You have to operate off the statement dates, not the due dates. So what I suggest is you pay before the statement date, not the due date. And this is a little challenging with new trade lines because you haven't even gotten information yet. So that's why I suggest if it's a brand new trade line, don't go run it up. Just go buy like a lunch or dinner for 30, 60 bucks and then leave it. And then wait until that information shows up in your, in your login area. But now let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into, you've got crappy credit just like I did. What do you do about it? And here's how you can fairly instantly get access to $12,000 about in Tradelines reporting on your credit. So you want to do this to start building your credit history if you have very little money, okay? Or you're brand new to building your credit. You want to do this if right now you're at a high utilization of your overall credit usage, right? Like if you're at like 50 or 60%, you got to add credit lines so that you add more total amount into the pot. And that way your utilization percentage comes down. How easy would it be to just slap another 5K on there, another 10K, right? So let's go through these. So the first one, and this is actually the very first thing that I did, was I went and bought my Jewelers Club. It cost $100 every year. And then you have to buy something immediately, which I think I bought some bullshit watch. This stuff, I don't even know if it's real. I don't even care. It's, again, to build your credit score. Don't go run up this $5,000 credit line. Do not. Go buy a shitty little $130 watch, tag watch or something, and that's it. Not a tag watch. It's not $100. You get what I'm saying. And then you're just going to make the payments. Don't pay it all off. Just pay like the $30 a month and then pay that over the 6 months. Let that season for 6 months. If you're trying to build your credit score from brand new, if you just need to, thin out your overall utilization, again, you could pay it all off, but I suggest to make the payments. So this does run a hard inquiry, and you don't want to dispute this because you don't dispute inquiries that are on existing accounts because they could shut down the account. You only dispute inquiries for accounts that you didn't get approved for. All right, so this does have a hard hit, and it. You don't dispute it. Okay, so $100 a year, and I think I just rolled over 1 year just now. So that's been on there for 1 year. Paid it off. It's open. It's been great. Next one, New Coast Direct. I'll have all these links underneath the video. Actually, no, I won't. I'll have the link to the PDF to the free report, which you should have already downloaded, and all these are in that. How about that? This one's $5,000 too. Doesn't pull inquiry at all on your credit. Same thing. Overpriced household, home and garden, sporting goods stuff. You're not trying to like go and get a eBay type deal on a new notebook or computer. Stop it. You're just going to go spend a little bit of money to open up the line and then make the payments. Same thing. Reports to all three bureaus. So this reports to all three. This reports to all three. Next, Hutton Chase. This one, they actually will give you somewhere between, I think, $1,500 and $2,500, depending on what you get approved for. I don't have this one. Okay. And again, it's like extremely overpriced stuff. The point is not to get this to buy stuff. The point is to get this to build your credit score and to thin out your utilization. So again, we got 5, 10, 12 here. And then the next one is Open Sky, which you could also do a Capital One Visa secured as well. They don't pull credit score. There's a ton of secured cards you could do. I actually break down quite a few in the free report that's linked under this video. But this, you just put up money and it reports to the bureaus, and you spend it and you pay APR on that. So some of these could be pretty high, 23 to 26%. That's the cost of playing the game, right? So no pulls, no credit score required. and you just immediately deposit money. I think it's probably like $250 is the minimum for these cards to $500, and you start using it. That's it. So, you got secured cards, you got lines of credit. These ones don't send you credit cards at all. They're just like to be used through that store. And like I said, the whole point of it is to, build your score or to boost up your overall utilization. It'll improve your score because it'll thin down how much percentage you're utilizing across your entire allocated credit, right? And it's more trade lines. But there's other stuff you could do too. You could go through Experian and have it start to report your utilities. There's also companies out there that will go back 2 years for somewhere between $100 to $250. They'll go back 2 years and report all your rental payments. And there's other things like that too. So internet bills and your consumer energy can be added on. All these are trade lines that help improve your history, number one, and two, just give you more trade line access. So the more complete the profile is, the better off you'll be. So getting your internet, getting your consumer energy and electric, getting your utilities, getting your rental payments, added on. Those all look good because it shows up on the history. So anyways, this I just wanted to share with you because look, there's so much crappy information on YouTube. Like, just search this stuff out and you'll see how many awful videos there are with bad information, or it's from years ago and it's not really relevant anymore. This is the stuff that I'm literally going through myself and working through with myself and a small group of people who are, rebuilding our credit and getting ourselves prepared for not only being a PG on, business lines, but also to getting personal lines set up. But this is the easy stuff to do. You could go and start doing this right now, and in the next 10 to 15 days you could see a dramatic difference. In fact, on some of these companies that will go and add 2 years history of your rental payments on your apartment or whatever you're doing, they guarantee that your score will bump up in 30 to 50 points in 2 weeks. That's how powerful this stuff is. So talk about super low lying fruit that you could do right now. How much did I just give you? For absolute free. I have no agenda. I don't run a credit fixing agency. I don't run any of that bullshit. I don't care. What this is about is like me literally going through it and losing tens of thousands of dollars now, wasting time with idiots that had no clue what they were talking about or doing, and actually finding out what to do. So hopefully you like this. If you do, smash the like button. This channel has been struggling a lot lately to get back up into algorithms. We've had videos in the past that did 100,000 views, 300,000 views, and now we're averaging like 100, 200, not even 1,000 views, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I'd love it if you could help. Just place a comment, hit the thumbs up button. If you're brand new to the channel and you like this, subscribe, hit the bell notification, be on the lookout. More videos coming soon. See ya.